Okay, I have it centered perfectly on you.
Yep.
Hardest part, you know how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
First and last name spell. I can hold on to
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Hi, Dave Keister, Davekeister.
Dave, where are we? What is this house?
So, welcome to my home, or what's left of it. So this was an 11,000 square foot building. It was the old general store from the 1950s. I had a motorcycle shop in there, and I retired from that due to health issues. Switched over to doing my industrial sewing. So had that business in there, lost it all, lost the house, got out about 10 minutes before the house floated away with my two dogs, just barely made it. And then the next day we were able to get out to quote unquote civilization. And then about a week after that I was able to get back up here and start seeing what I could find, which was not a lot. I mean, it's kind of a mess, but I don't have a house on top of it like a lot of other people do. But I have parts and things from the rare motorcycle, so I actually have to sift through each scoopful of sand, through a screen, just like an archaeologist, to try and find those parts.
It truly has been a process. I mean, just looking at it, I can tell it's hard to tell exactly what it was before.
Right, and what's even harder to tell is that I've had crews out here for a solid 3.5 weeks working, and drive by and it doesn't look like anything's been done at all. But we've actually done folks like Bert that's coming out, giving us supplies, making sure we've got what we need. They're checking on us daily, not even to bring us stuff, but just make sure we're doing all right. So we've got that physical assistance, we've got that mental health support. So all those types of details really come in to make this a little bit more manageable. I couldn't have done it without all the volunteers, both locally and from out of state, coming in to really jump in with feet on the ground to make it happen, regardless of any organization. And that's really the nice thing about it, is people jumping in, being people, treating people like human beings on the planet. That's really the most important thing about it.
And let's talk about that. I want to talk about the fuel that they're sending right now. I'm going to zoom this in just a tad. With that fuel, I mean, how is that going to help you for them to come out? How is that going to help, and how long will it help you?
Well, it helps because I don't have to leave and go find fuel somewhere. I've got a neighbor that's trying to recover as well. His whole house got gutted. So he requires generators and fuel. I've got some elders in the community that have medical needs. So thanks to PERT, they're bringing us fuel and topping it off as we need it. So I can keep these community members supplied coming in. That way we're not one more of the way to get those supplies. We've got it right here so we can keep working. We don't have to have our elders driving long distances to get fuel, things like that. So that support in the community is huge. And the fact that they're going to continue to bring that fuel, and not just, okay, here's a can, have a nice day, and they're gone, but they're here for the long haul. That's what we need, is people that understand we don't need everything right now, but we're going to need it in steps going down the recovery process, and as we get through this winter. Once it's spring, things will be a little bit easier, but it's starting to get really cold, and for a lot of our elders or those with health issues, that limits the amount of time you can work every day. So if it's really cold, you may get 2-3 hours of work done on your site, and then you've got to go find heat. Mm-hmm. So if you've got heat at least on site, something to stay in, you're at least able to stay at your place and work when you're able to. And that availability is huge, because every minute kind of counts throughout this.
One thing that I learned is that people are using this kind of fuel to heat up their homes, or heat up whatever it is that they need. Can you tell me a little bit about just how cold it gets here, and how often people are having to fuel up to actually stay warm?
Well, it's interesting because in the mountains here we have cold snaps and warm snaps. One day it'll be freezing, the next day it'll be 75. So it's very unpredictable. So if you have a health need or something like that, or a family, you want to know that you've got that heat available when you need it. And it can get quite cold. Like my house is on the north face. This is the most sun I will get all winter long. And same with Michael down the street. So some notches don't get any sun in the wintertime. Some get full sun in the wintertime. So that makes a big difference on keeping your house warm. If it's a liquid fuel like kerosene or propane, then you've got to have that delivered. If it's wood, you've got to have fuel for your chainsaw to cut the wood. So nothing is a simple one step. So the more people helping take care of some of those steps along the way, the easier it is to manage what you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Dave, 2 more questions for you. One, knowing that this was your home, you lived and worked here every single day, this was your livelihood, seeing what it is now, seeing what the river looks like now, what your home looks like now, I mean, what does that make you feel?
Well, it's sad. I'll miss it. It was a wonderful home to live in. The river has totally changed from what it was. But here's the thing about nature. Nature will bounce back if you give it the opportunity. I actually have seen new grass sprouting out of the sand that was left by the river. So Mother Nature will do what she wants to do. So sometimes we don't like that. Sometimes we think it's beautiful. But guess what? You can't have one without the other. So accepting that, knowing that this beauty will return, I'm not going anywhere. Now I'm going to go on tour for a little while, promoting my sewing company and community awareness, doing this around the country. I'm going to raise some money to bring back to my community for long-term resiliency projects, communications programs, water systems, things like that involve some of the younger members of our community. So when they get older, they have a better game plan for if and when something like this happens again. So I will rebuild not on the river, but probably somewhere higher on my property. I'm lucky that I have that property and can do that. But with that whole aspect, I am part of this community. I want this community to grow back stronger than it was before. And with my company, we try and put sewers to work in their homes. So if you've got a child or an elder parent, you can work on your schedule and take care of your family. So we're trying to get back up to speed where we can continue that process. It's going to take us about a year. Ultimately I lost about $750,000 worth of motorcycles, sewing equipment, fabric, finished product. It's going to take a while to bounce back from that. So, every little bit helps, but I'm not doing it just for me. I'm doing it for my community because I'm part of this community. I want to see it grow and heal as a community, not just as individuals.
I'm gonna. I think we're already done. We're heading out.
You can do one more question.
I'm gonna do one more. I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit tighter on you and fix my lens so it's not so dark. You can stay right there.
I was finding the sun.
Oh no, you're good. Just stay right there. Okay, my last question. What do you want people to realize about what happened here in Western North Carolina? Because I think my goal is I don't want people to forget what happened. So, what do you want people to remember about this area and the people that live here?
I want people to remember that we came together as a community and helped our neighbors regardless of where they came from, who they voted for, who they prayed to. None of that mattered. It came down to being humans on the planet. And because of that, we have a stronger community. And going forward, we're going to have a stronger community because of that resiliency of people coming in and doing the right thing. So I see our community growing stronger, and we will continue to think ahead and educate some of our younger folks and folks moving into the area that deep community is important. It doesn't need to be just your neighborhood, but it needs to include your neighborhood. And your community can be international, but definitely make sure you know the folks that live right around you too.
It's so nice meeting you. I'm gonna try to get some quick
I
video.
need to do one video with you over here
Yep.
real quick. Come over here because my camera does better light over here.
Totally.
So
Totally.
I'm with Western Carolina Emergency Network, and
Yes.
we're the ones paying for the fuel.
Awesome.
So
You
we
guys
just need
rock.
stories to get to our donors so they know, because we're 100% donations. So
Totally.
just thanking